President Trump delivering his State of the Union address last night. A key theme of the night, the economy. Joining us now from Los Angeles for analysis is pollster and political strategist Frank Luntz. He hosted a focus group during the State of the Union in real time, and he is here with proprietary information on how voters reacted in partnership with the LA Times.
This is a blue-collar boom. Since my election, U.S. stock markets have soared 70%, adding more than $12 trillion to our nation's wealth, transcending anything anyone believed was possible. This is a record. It is something that every country in the world is looking up to. They admire. Consumer confidence has just reached amazing new highs.
And Frank Luntz joining us now. Frank, it's good to see you. I've got to imagine we showed a little clip going into the break that the fevers were running hot during this speech last night.
Well, it's very frustrating because if you're a Trump person, everything, every word that Donald Trump said was brilliant. And you absolutely endorsed everything without any hesitation at all. If you don't like Donald Trump, then even though he was reporting specific numbers, statistics that are verifiable and factual, those who don't like him don't care. It doesn't matter. And on this one issue, the economy, the president is the strongest. The numbers back him up. His own people feel better off than they were 4 years ago. Those that don't support him struggle to show weakness in the economy. But I think that's where they're going to take this election campaign.
So Frank, Trump could say 2 + 2 is 3, and his supporters would agree. He could say 2 + 2 is 4, and his detractors would say he's lying.
Exactly.
So what does that say about us, where we are in this moment? Are we going to look back at 150 years and you know, when the aliens come, they're going to look back at a history book and say, man, that was a weird time?
I don't know if they're going to say it's a weird time. I do know they are going to say that we have reached the breaking point. It does not help the situation where the Democrats have still not reported the Iowa results from 36 hours ago. It does not help that in the State of the Union you have the Speaker of the House tearing up the speech. She knew what she was doing. She was looking at her members as she did it. She knew she was on camera. She was trying to make a statement about Donald Trump. That's the problem, Brian. Everybody is trying to make a statement, and nobody is trying to make a difference.
What about the president not shaking hands with her? Do you think that was on purpose? She looked miffed.
I do not know. You know what? I don't think things happen by mistake. I think things happen for a reason, and we're all going too far. We're all doing too much. And I want to say this morning. The public is itself at a breaking point. In our focus group, and you can see the entire thing on the LA Times app.
Okay.
Well, it took 30 seconds for them to start yelling at each other. It took 60 seconds for the whole group to devolve. That's the problem.
Yeah, it is. And let's show another part, because another key moment, Frank, of that speech was Trump's attack on socialism. Watch this.
132 lawmakers in this room have endorsed legislation to impose a socialist takeover of our health care system, wiping out the private health insurance plans of 180 million very happy Americans. To those watching at home tonight, I want you to know we will never let socialism destroy American health care.
All right. I mean, again, Frank, you're saying one thing, and half the people in the country are cheering. The other half are throwing stuff at their television. In your travels, have you found people to be any more accepting than a couple of years ago, or are we just entrenching even more, and nobody's ever going to change their mind about anything?
Even the coverage is overhyped. It's overcaffeinated. So if you are a left-leaning newspaper, Donald Trump this morning, everybody hated the speech. If you're a right-leaning newspaper, it was a brilliant speech. Our group actually thought that Donald Trump was not inappropriate. They did not think that he was overly partisan. They thought it was a campaign speech for 2020, which obviously it was. But I'm afraid that the people who report the news are actually missing what the voters themselves are saying. We had 2 undecided voters. They moved towards Trump after the speech was done.
Frank, I just wanted to, for the viewer who's listening, so at this time of the morning, a lot of people are like getting ready and they're not looking at the TV. If you're hearing the parts of this Trump speech that we're playing, we're showing these results. If they're red, they're Republicans responding to the speech and they're rising most of the time, and the Greens are the Democrats and they're declining most of the time, reflecting what you were describing as their reaction. And tell us about the fight that we teased, that we played. That was astounding to watch. Right there in the room, they started screaming at each other.
Yes, and it lost control. I know you can see it on the screen right now. And it is easily triggered. All you have to do is talk about health care, talk about the economy, talk about tax cuts. Up until now, up until this election, people could disagree without being disagreeable. In this election, everything is a fight. Everything is a brawl. Nobody's listening. Everybody's speaking. Everyone is shouting. And the problem is, I don't see this getting any better over the coming months.
Well, on that happy note, we're going to bring this up as well. We're not done yet. Don't worry, there's a lot here, Frank. Great content as always. President Trump also talking about what I guess everybody should like, which is low unemployment rates. But even that's politicized. Listen.
If we hadn't reversed the failed economic policies of the previous administration, the world would not now be witnessing this great economic success. The unemployment rate for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Asian Americans has reached the lowest levels in history.
I'm just going to guess, Frank, that the people who grumble at that, and we heard some audible grumbling when he said reverse the policies, what the people will say is, yeah, unemployment's low, that's good, but it's because of Obama, and Trump just inherited an already improving economy. I'm just going to take a wild stab.
I think you were there at the LA Times focus group. It was immediate. And those who voted for Barack Obama do not want to hear of Donald Trump's successes. They do not want to give him credit for it. Even on unemployment, they feel that this was Obama's policies, not Trump's policies.
Frank, we got to run, but you have any view about what's going to happen next week?
Well, hopefully New Hampshire can count their ballots better than Iowa can. This was a stunning.
Do you think that the half results we have now are going to carry over next week, or it's a different audience?
It's a different audience. I think Bernie Sanders will do even better in New Hampshire. He and Buttigieg are absolutely dead even in Iowa right now. Joe Biden has to win an early state. If he loses Iowa and New Hampshire, I do not believe he wins New Hampshire, no.